As we continue with the ancient Israelite, what they would have looked like. And the reason why I continue with this is because I made sure to even fact check the video which was shown in this on my lessons dealing with the scholars depicting the image of the Israelites being captives to the Egyptians, and was displaying as such because I had to make sure I don't want any wrong or misinformation spread because of my videos. And it went on to establish by firstly showing this. It identify who they are. I also identify that they were Canaanites in the mix that were also under captivity amongst the Israelites, and it very much establishes the what exactly what we would have shown and what would have looked like, which I'm going to pause and show. And the sites it showed this, which is the initial image they were using. It went on to show this. It continued to show these, which represents who? Ancient Israel. It then showed this, a person of bald head. That little thing behind it is where they shave the head off, because that's one of the customs they would have had in Egypt, which when you could go into it, you could see some of the people, they had shaved heads, right? So it outright shows the difference as to where you saw the Canaanites and you saw the in the Israelites. All right, there's more pictures which I can show more, of course. I'm not pause again, because what I did was used the collage to form all these together with everything mentioned according to the scholars, and ask if this is referring, if these pictures being shown at the side and the bottom is what he was speaking about. And they give a very positive answer. They give links to these to the other images which you see in here, and it also shows back then where ancient Israel they were, in other words, they were shaved to suit what the Egyptian trait would have been, where as to where you could see I think let me get all of it. Right, so going back into it, as we shared the rest, this is where it started with, which is the first look up dealing with our Israelite ancestors. And it shows this image showcasing that they were brown, copper, brown to dark brown people. And we went on to the other. It showed this. I'm just going directly as was followed. It showed this image again depicting copper to brown skin, to dark brown skin people. All this was links provided for what I ask in placing this. And they gave the answer via links and information. So then I vaguely ask, because I just wanted to be very clear. So I ask, was ancient Israel white or dark skinned according to canonical history? It's according to canonical history, archaeologists and genetics, ancient Israelites were dark skinned, not white. It says key evidence, biblical description, Song of Solomon, I am black but comely. And I made a mistake with this too, because I did refer this to Solomon when I was referring to the daughters of Israel, to be exact. But let me go into it. There was, let me just go into it. Let me read it. It says, I am black but comely, which clearly describing the natural complexion of Israelites during the United Monarchy, which David and Solomon era. It says other text describes Israelites with near eastern features consistent with Levantine population. It says geography and ancestry. Israelites came from the Levant, a crossroad of Africa and Asia. And let me continue to just say, I hope I get right. I'm glad I screenshot it properly this time. It says indigenous populations in the Levant in the Levant had dark skin to deep copper skin, like I said, curly or wavy dark hair, and brown eyes. Archaeologists and artists so lucky for the cough. I should have paused like I did this morning. So, right, artistic evidence, Egyptian hieroglyphs and depictions of Auma, Asiatic Asiatics slash Levantine people show a medium to dark skin tone, distinct from Egyptians, Nubians, and Europeans. Skeletal remains and mosaics from ancient Israel and surrounding region confirm Near Eastern facial features and pigmentation. Genetic evidence. Ancient DNA from Bronze to Iron Age Levant confirms continuity into later Israelite population showing ancestral Near Eastern African traits, not European light skin. So this is not my information. It provided the sources which you can actually click into or press or type out ancient DNA, Bronze Age, Sudan, and you go on National Geographic, Ancient Canaanites as well. They give you all the information here. It continues. Now look at my next question. It says ancient Israelites were dark-skinned, near Eastern European. Eastern European peoples. Claims that being white are not supported by structure, archaeology, or genetics. So as it goes on to say, but I even though I should have went into this too, but I made sure to ask were Israelites dealing with the Jews in the Greek to Roman times white or black or dark skin, and I have to add it because this is how ChatGPT views just as the heathens view certain things as white and black being a social construct, but they still use it to describe individual persons, like those that are of brown or dark brown, they use black, and those that are of lighter skin tone, red or pinkish skin tone, they use white, as we know. This is why I have to phrase it in that manner. All right, let's continue. It says during the Greek and Roman periods, Israelite Jews were still dark-skinned, not white. Lineage remained intact. Despite Hellenization or Roman rule, their ancestral Levantine genetics did not change. Skin tone and facial features and hair types were inherited traits: dark brown skin, dark hair, brown eyes, Near Eastern features, structure consistent with early Israelites. It says historical accounts as Josephus, 1st century CE, describes Jews in the Judah and Galilee and the diaspora of ethnically distinct from Greek and Roman, with identifiable Near Eastern features. Jews in Alexandria, Rome, and Asia Minor were recognized as a separate. Now, again, this is not my words or my information. The person is right here, not me. They quote somebody, an individual, and they quote what was mentioned from what he had observed, not my words. Yes, he be question I ask. All right, so I don't want nobody putting words in my mouth. Right. It says, recognized as a separate people, even if some adopted Greek names or cultural habits. It continues to say, all right, verse 3 of still part Hellenization introduced Greek language, coinage, and dress and social practices. Roman occupation added administration, roads, and law. None of this changed Israelite genetics. It only affected culture, not pigmentation. It says the diaspora intermingling later nuisance. Some Jews intermarried with local population, Greeks, Egyptians, and Romans. This could introduce minor variations in appearance, like slightly lighter skin, different hair texture. Core Levantine traits remain dominant, so even Hellenized Jews were mostly dark skinned with Near Eastern features. Now, yes, at the point in time, but if you're talking about today in this society, this is my take, even though many of our people are still at the base darker skin tone, does not mean that many haven't changed also, because we have to remember that I've done this already, where many Israelites would have intermingled through time and time again. Those that were exiled from our land at early, that end up in India, end up in Egypt, end up in Asia. Understand? There are many stories, even in Ezra, where the men of Israel made a decision to leave the children along with the wives, the strange wives, leave them there because they're already taught in the manners of the heathens, and they went back to serve the Heavenly Father, separate themselves from them. These are children that are of Yahweh Bashim Yosha of Israel. They are Israelites that don't know that they are, because they are mingled and they are taught the ways of these heathens. So they are going to grow up now in that region from back then till now, mingling with heathens, and the changes is going to take place. It's not going to have a minor change now of texture of the hair, vice versa, as mentioned. It's going to have a major change, exactly allowing us who are Israelites to look like heathens, but are Israelites. This is why we make sure to reiterate and teach that the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and those whose seed line goes back to the children of Israel, though they may look or appear to be a heathen, but their seed line goes back to the sons of Jacob. That's what makes you an Israelite. Jacob's name was changed to Israel, and thus the children of Israel, the term was born, because it's referring to the descendants of Jacob, which was name changed to Israel by the Heavenly Father Yahweh Shem Yahushai, as we know. So that is my take on that. Yes, they might say minor traits, minor details would have changed, minor variations, slightly lighter skin, different hair texture is going to have a major change, even in the Levantine traits, or the appearance is also going to change also. So yes, he's speaking about a short notice or a short distance from then to the David and Solomon kingdom, going into the Greek or Greco-Roman Empire, but past that, or go from before that until after, they are also going to have many of our people that are mixed up in this, mixed up with them, that are going to be appearing like them but are not. Then there are many, like say example, like David. For those who didn't get the information, David Fagin, you can read of the book. David Fagin, a Judah, I believe that Judah, Jake, a Jew from the tribe of Judah. After World War, I believe, with the Vietnamese, he stayed in the country of in Vietnam and spread his seed, made families, and many of his families today look like Vietnamese. I say it again. Many of his families today look exactly like Vietnamese. Straightish hair, light complexion, face totally, almost completely changed. It looks exactly like a Vietnamese. The only difference is they are aware of the truth, and they have the salt in them. Their movements are different from the typical Vietnamese of the land. Not moving like beasts, but moving like people. That is the difference. So that's why I make sure and reiterate that immediately, so y'all don't think I want stem only on being on dark or black. Like y'all try to bring this up. I don't know why to bring it up and call up the Black Hebrew Israelite BHI movement. They're not what we're here for. We are here to simply bring out the evidence, prove all things, hold fast to that which is good, which I have been showing and doing for the longest while, which is undeniable. at this present point in time, which I'm going to continue to show because it's my job to do so. All right, let's continue in the last part. So as you go on, it says core Levantine traits remain dominant. So Hellenized Jews were mostly dark skinned with Near Eastern features, which yes at the point in time, but I also disagree at a certain point as we shown, because the evidence also shows different and we cannot be biased. I'm not going to sit here and be biased like these Christians and these other nations. I'm not doing that. Let's continue. Archaeology and art. It says mosaic frescoes and skeletal remains from Roman era Judea show dark hair, medium to dark brown skin individuals with Near Eastern facial features. Egyptian depictions of the Jews Laudau also shows dark skin and dark hair separate from Greeks and Romans from their comparison, their description. So conclusion, Jews/Israelites in the Greek and Roman periods were dark-skinned Near Eastern people. Hellenization or Roman rule affected language and culture, but did not make them white. Minor variation due to... Now, there's also a next factor that we have to add into this. Take into consideration many of our people what they have done, and I'll show you as you continue. This is just me breaking away, but I'll have to conclude in the next lesson.